Well, good morning. I'm here in Tahoe City at Commons Beach, and it seems that last night winter was really trying to come to Tahoe, which is good because we really need a good winter storm, even though it makes car camping a bit more miserable. I suppose that I really fall into the trap of being negative, overly negative at times. And I think it's good to keep things in perspective, perhaps. It's not all bad, as long as we have our health. And freedom. The world hasn't completely fallen apart quite yet. It could be on its way a bit more. But in this time period, at least, we still have our freedom in this country and the ability to still make a decent living. And if things get bad or we don't like how a certain state's going, then we can just move and change our environment in a way. Or at least, I'm kind of a proponent of lying to yourself that everything's better than it is. At least until it is actually better than it is. Wow, now the sun's really coming out. Maybe with the sun and nicer weather here comes a bit more hope and perseverance to keep moving forward and not give up. Sometimes it feels like it's easier just to give up hope and let yourself slip into depression, negativity, anxiety. But I guess we don't really have a choice about dealing with hardships. All we can do is keep moving forward. There's no other option, at least for me, is just day by day living and making the best of what we're given in the moment and what God has given us in this life. And like a second ago, it was completely overcast, like over there. How quickly these clouds move, it's unreal. Over the last few days, I have lost my focus. And with that, lost some of my sanity, joy for life, and happiness. I've started thinking of poverty being more like a wandering soul, one that wants to give up or forfeit materialism in order to have experiences and appreciate the time that I have. I think the world was trying to drag me back into servitude and being the puppet, serving the major corporations, the endless chase of more and more materials, things to bring purpose to my life and to bring joy. And I think there is some value in following the teachings of a Buddha or a Christ-like being who wandered the world spreading a message, being within a world of chaos, yet with freedom, a world of just being in the world, but not of it. I think I just need to get back to that frame of mind and being okay with the fact of not living the normal life, and that there's value in being someone who wanders and maybe just shares a message, a person that is willing to help and slow down their own life in order to help another person. We definitely lost some of that sense of being, perhaps, in the world these days. It's most likely it's been by design, so that way we work more, pay more in taxes, and just buy more stuff, things that we don't really need. But instead of looking within and using internal reasoning and logic, and perhaps talking with others for therapy, the world wants us to use retail therapy instead. I believe I've lost the focus of living my authentic style of life as being maybe more of just the wayfarer, the life pilgrimage, traveling the wilderness, living for the now rather than living for the 10, 15 years in the future. And I don't think there's anything wrong with planning ahead, but perhaps we have so much focus on living for that distant future that we forgot about living in the here and now, making sure that we have the resources for now and the resources to do an adventure, to go on that vacation, I guess. Take some time for yourself. Instead of just thinking, after I get that promotion or I get that raise, then I will do it. Because who knows, those days might never come. And it's okay to give yourself that time to have your own spiritual awakening in a way, in that life pilgrimage, to pursue what you want rather than what everyone else wants of you. And it's okay to be homeless and just live off the land more. In a way, it's very freeing. You're not in servitude of any mortgage or rent. You get to go where you want, and it's not an attack on your own value and your own self-worth. And if other people want to judge, then we should let them. We can't control what other people think about us, and they can't control what we think about them. So you might as well just let the bygones be bygones and go on with your own life. Enjoy the outdoors, family, whatever it is, and be at peace with it. At least that's the theory, and that's what I'm trying to do. As I'm just walking through the immense fog here. The storms are rolling in, which is good because there's way too many rocks showing through the snow right now. It's kind of peaceful too. Everything's just fogged in, mostly all white. Your depth perception is very off. I almost stepped into a giant hole. I thought the ground was flat. Yesterday I was talking about eventually probably living on the streets and having to beg, and just feeling a sense of shame about that possibility. Yet after giving it some thought, I don't think that there's shame in the beggar, as long as they're doing it through a need at that very moment. They're honest about the needs of shelter, food, water, and nothing of the substances. I think that it gives a face to those who are in more need than we are, and it allows us to give something to someone else, to show our generosity, humility, and a sense of togetherness. So much of the world has been outsourced to where people think, well, I pay taxes, which then go towards people who need it. And that has been so corrupted and misused of funds that actually never even gets to the people, but becomes an excuse for society to ignore those who might immediately need help. And if you think about like a military force, the soldier's not out there trying to provide his own medical care, get his own food. We as a society have decided to pay for that because we see the good of having a military and people willing to protect our rights, our nation, and our freedom. And we give that freely because we know that there's a value. And I think the same thing could be said for those homeless who really need help at the moment, and not to shame and put them down because of their current predicament. Some, of course, put themselves in that environment, but many have chosen not. I mean, they didn't choose that lifestyle, and I think it helps the person giving as well, just knowing that I'm helping in this immediate need to the person right in front of me, rather than just saying, well, I pay taxes, or I'm giving to this charity fund for someone in Africa, cover them flies, and then thinking virtuous thoughts about that, while forgetting about your neighbor just down the road. We've so far separated and distanced generosity and giving, rather than just looking down the street. However, I feel that in the realm of giving to, say, someone in need or a beggar, someone on the street corner, I think that if you give money, you lose that human connection. I think that when you give, it should be in the form of food, shelter, a warm embrace from person to person, giving them items to help them survive. Money can be corrupted and used for evil, but when you give something of yours or offer up a roof or a ride or something freely, that gives a human connection, person to person. And that gift of something valuable to you, to them, other than just money and monetary funds, I think leaves a more lasting impression. It's easy perhaps to just give money away, and hard to invite someone into your home or your car, or to make them a home-cooked meal. But those acts leave so much more of an impact. And it's sad that a lot of these acts nowadays are just too dangerous to even do. And so I guess we just resort to giving the government money and hoping that they'll provide. But the corruption in the end probably just ends up eating all of your goodwill and the funds that you send to the government to just feed some already fat bureaucrat in government. And in a way, that's why I've never really pushed like buy me a coffee or anything, because I know money can be corrupted, and I need to give more of a service to deserve that gratitude and that compassion. And until I have earned that or felt like I have, and I know that I can use it in a worthwhile, meaningful way to help myself and others, I will just stay on this path of what I'm currently doing, through the peaks and the valleys, hard times and the good times, wandering through the wilderness, sharing some thoughts, whether good or bad. And some of them are bad and not so positive, because sometimes real life hits hard, and then this becomes the outlet for it. But then getting back out here, and my soul starts to be rejuvenated and strengthened once again, and the strength and the perseverance returns. It's cool when you go from one peak down the valley and then up to the other side. Still got a little bit more to go, But it's cool, like, traversing these valleys in the mountains. And with the snow, you can kind of choose your own destiny. In relative terms. You can't just go straight up, like up this, over there, and then segue around. Sometimes the least direct route is the most direct. Just like the weather, you could be stuck in the fog, clouds, the wind, just the harshness of Mother Nature. It's like in life, sometimes when you don't feel like you've made any headway in life and you're just going backwards, the fog rises. You see the path you've already come. The tracks are visible. You see the peaks that you've already overcome. You also see the peaks that you still must overcome. But with the fog rising, you realize that you have made headway. And you're at least moving forward still. Even if it seems like you've fallen and slid backwards. We're always still moving forward, even if we can't see it. And even though there's always another climb to get over, we can at least have solace that we've already done so many climbs in the past. And this is just yet another challenge for us to overcome. Hell or high water, we have to overcome. There is no choice. There is no giving up. It's just a constant struggle. And we all struggle together. So we might also have a good attitude about it. And relish in the victories. And the fact that we've overcome so much adversity throughout our lives. And anything that comes up, we will also overcome. I guess that some who wander do get lost at times, but generally I think we find our way. And so not all wanderers are always lost, nor have they found where they want to go. It's all part of the journey and the excitement of life. And even if you know where you're going, I suppose there's always another mountain to climb and challenges to overcome. Nothing is granted nor easy in this life, and whatever is valuable always comes at a cost. And with that, I will see you tomorrow, hopefully in this winter wonderland, where the treks aren't very common, and I make my own path and footsteps alone, and that's fine. Sometimes we walk the path solo, and others with company.